But look, of course, if you look in Germany after the war, right? I mean, the big cities were all totally destroyed. There was basically nothing left, right? But I say I come from a very small country, from a very small village, and around us even more other small villages. So this area not so affected by the war.
So, Roland, today we would like you to actually share with us your life, your experience, and basically advice to the younger generation how you live your life and how you have actually grown to be who you are today, right? So, Roland, tell us about your childhood in Germany. Now, how is it like living in a farm, in post-war Germany, just right after World War II? How was it living in a farm?
Well, yeah. Look, I come from a very small village in Germany, right? About between 80 and 103 people living there over the last 50 years since I'm gone. So life there is actually it was very nice. Yeah, I cannot complain. I had a very good childhood. I'm grown up in a farm. You're always out in the nature. Yes, there is time you have to work in summertime. You have to help, right? Whatever comes. But if you think about back, we had no machineries, right? Everything was done up to my 6th year only by horses. Right? Everything was done by hand. And yeah, you cannot imagine today how it works anymore, right? But yeah, life was good. Yeah, it's interesting, and I had free time. After we bought the tractor, I could use the horse, so every day horse riding, go to the forest, build our log houses there. So we had a good childhood there.
So you were saying that your farm, your father owns a farm, your parents owns a farm, and at that time it was a small farm, and the village is only 80 to 100 people, and that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
So you basically know everybody, and
oh, for sure.
and every pet they have, and every dog and every horse, you name them,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, but it was actually one reason why I decided already young. Although life is nice, but this is not where I want to live.
That's why you chose a different life, right?
Yeah.
So now you witnessed the rise of Germany. Now tell us a bit of post-war Germany. During that time, Germany was defeated in the war. Now this is what historians told us. Germany was defeated through the war. It was hard, right, in Germany at that time. And you were born right 6 years after they lost the war. And tell us, when you grew up, what did you see in post-war Germany? How was it?
Well, look, of course, if you look in Germany after the war, right, I mean, the big cities were all totally destroyed. There was basically nothing left, right? But I say, I come from a very small country, from a very small village, and around us even more other small villages. So this area not so affected by the war. Right? Everything is old. The infrastructure is not there, right? But I never remembered anything which is really related to war. Right?
Oh.
And of course, life got from year to year got better, right? Because the recovery, Germany went quite fast upwards again. So yeah, I cannot say much about from the wartime. We always had enough food, right? In a farm, you have your own animals. Twice a year, they were slaughtering, right? Which was always great to be there, right? And see how a pig gets a sausage or a cow gets sausage, right? so yeah, we had a lot of fun there.
So what you say is that the war did not affect the countryside.
No,
not so much.
Not so.
It was the Munich, the Berlin,
big cities
that was really affected.
Yeah.
Now through the 60s, you were 12, 14, 15. Did you see the rise of Germany? Did you witness that?
Oh sure, right. I mean,
how was that? How was the picking up?
Well, look, the economy went just everywhere, right? I mean, there were not enough workers, foreigners workers came in from Turkey, from Italy, from Yugoslavia, right? And Germany was rebuilt, right? And it was rebuilt in a very fast time, right? Especially 60s, 70s, 80s, I would say. This is the time where Germany really came up again from, right, with new technology, with new things. So, yeah, it's about, I mean, the thing is, look, if you live there, you don't realize so much, right? Right? Because it just happens one after one.
True.
Life getting better year by year.
Yep.
Right? So if life getting worse year by year, you will realize much more.
So at the age of 14, you went to become an apprentice chef. Now, German school was mandatory how many years again?
Well, it was 8 years in Germany.
So it was mandatory school for 8 years. So at the age of 14, it is just you've just finished school. There's no more. There's no progress, right? After that, at that time.
Well, look, the reason is why I was out with 14. The main reason was because in a small village there are not enough kids. So I'm born 51, and there were 4 kids born in the 50. Then 52 or 51, there were only 1 girl. So my parents decided that I should go 1 year earlier to school, join the year 50. Right? So that's why I'm finished with 14, where the rest is finished with 15.
Okay. So at the age of 14, you went and become what we call apprentice chef.
Yeah. Well, the life in Germany was then like this, right? You do your school, and then you have to go for apprenticeship. So then what is available for apprenticeship, right? So I was also thinking of a butcher, electrician, or something like a mechanic. And then my sister married an hotelier. And she said, why don't come become a chef? So then I was thinking, yeah, that is good, maybe a good idea. So that's why I decided to become a chef.
And at that time, your parents are still around, or
Yeah.
they're still around, right? When you're 14, and I understand from you is that you left home at 14
Yes.
to work in another town.
Yeah.
And that was a terribly young age to leave home and to work in another town, right?
Yeah. Yeah, sure. With 14, it is young. But what I said, it was always in my mind to move on. Right? I only know I don't want to necessarily live there for the rest of my life, right? So that's why it came quite easily for me to go. So
at a young tender age of 14, you have decided in your mind that you want to move out of that small town.
Yeah.
What is the name of the town that you're from?
Called Upflameur.
Can you say that again for the guests? Sorry, the Malaysian guests couldn't have comprehended.
Called Upflameur.
Upflameur.
Which sounds very French. Right? And they were actually saying the name came from Napoleon. When Napoleon marched to Russia, there were a stop in a valley which called Flumen. And then they will say this is Upflameur, which means above Flumen. So that's where the name, what they say the name come from. If it's true, I do not know.
Okay, that was a long time ago,
It was
right?
a long time ago.
That's a long time ago. Do you go back to your hometown frequently?
Yeah, usually I go once a year or twice, or once in 2 years.
Now, how many people are still living there?
It's still the same, right? There are maybe 5 new houses have been built, but it's not because people don't want to live there, because you can't get land to build. It's all kind of protected land, right? So they want to keep the land as it is.
So basically, your family still have land, and the farm is still there. Who is running the farm now?
No, we don't have a farm anymore. The farm has been gone for a while. My brother still lives there, right? But he has given up the farm, and he has still the land which he leases out. Right? But he has done then other jobs for the government in the forests, etc.
That would be lovely, right, to visit your hometown if I would have the opportunity.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it is a nice, it's a nice village, right? I mean, you are surrounded by forests and fields and all this. It's really a nice. It's very nice.
Right. So we're gonna switch you to over some of the presentation that we have now. So let's look at the first picture now. This is the story of Roland Steiner, and you can see from the background that is him with the. They are actors. They are not real communists.
Actually, this was my 60th birthday party in Beijing.
Okay.
Which my wife organized for me, right? And all the people which you see there, they're not soldiers, they are all my department heads actually. Right? And
So
to my right is the deputy manager from the hotel.
all right. So to the political bureau of Malaysia, don't be alarmed. These are all fake soldiers. They are not communists. Okay. Right. So tell us a bit about. Sorry. So it's okay. We will edit this part. Let me just. Okay. So we will edit that part. Okay. So now, Roland, tell us about this. This is you post World War II serving in the German army.
Yeah.
That is what, national service?
Yeah, it's national service, right, which was compulsory. Right, everybody in the age of 18 has to be prepared to go to the army, right? And I just got 18 then.
And you were on a pipe.
Yeah, even today I smoke only pipe or cigar. Right?
Yeah.
I never had a cigarettes, right? I don't like cigarettes, right? But I started pipe smoking when I was 17.
Right. That was the young, and I can see a lot of resemblance of your son to the younger you. Your son is what, 20 now?
22, yeah.
22. Your son looks incredibly like you, you know. So now, then South Africa, right? So you left Germany at a young age.
Yeah.
So tell us about South Africa. How did you end up going to South Africa at what age?
23.
So tell us about that.
So basically what happened is, I mean, I was working in the summer season in North Germany, and once in the newspaper we saw this ad from South Africa looking for young people who want to live in South Africa. And the deal was that South Africa was paying the airfare and they would accommodate you for 2 weeks, where they arranged interviews. It depends what occupation you have. Right? So basically, 4 friends of mine and I, we decided, okay, let's try to go to South Africa.
Now, you were at the age of 20 plus, young 20s, and you and 3 friends decided from Germany to migrate to South Africa. What makes you make that decision?
Well, look, the thing is, when we were working in the, first of all, there's a few reasons. The first reason is, when you work in the hotel industry at the time, to gain experience, you have to move around. Right? You should work in different countries. You should work in different cuisines to get experience, right? And what I said, I always, the reason why I became a chef was to see the world, right? First, it was because I want to work on a ship and see the world, but this doesn't work out. So then this with South Africa came, and we applied for South Africa, and we got all accepted. We gave the date when we can travel, and then in January, I don't know, 74, 75, we all flew to South Africa.
So tell me, life in South Africa, that time it is still at the height of apartheid.
Yeah.
So for the audience out there, if you do not know what is apartheid, apartheid is a white-only policy, which is a very race-based policy in South Africa. So tell us about the life. How did you live? You're a white immigrant, of course. What was your experience living under the apartheid of South Africa?
Well, look, when you go there, we not even thought about apartheid or something like this, right? But when you arrive in South Africa, and when you go out, you will see everywhere is white only, white only, white only, or non-black, non-black. So then you realize that something is different here, right? The buses, the trains is where blacks cannot go. Yeah, that's where you really feel that there is a difference, right? And of course, people in the black people in the 90s would have to leave. I mean, I was in Johannesburg, right? Around Johannesburg, there are two cities. One is Soweto, one is Sun City. One Soweto and Alexandria, which is black only, right? And in the night before 12 or something like this, the blacks usually would all have to leave Johannesburg, the city, and go home to their cities in the morning to come back.
So what you're saying is that blacks has a curfew.
Yes.
During the 70s.
Yes.
That they must leave Johannesburg and go back to Alexandria, which is blacks only.
Yeah.
So no white man will live in Alexandria.
They only could stay in the city when they have to work. Like
maids.
Like a maid, like a maid, like night chefs, like some people always security, always have to work, right? But if you don't work, you have to leave.
Oh, so that was pretty tough, right?
Yeah, it's look at the thing is we never had a problem with the black people. The black South African at the time, they hated the white South African very much, right? But we never had a problem, right? I mean, when we go around South Africa, we were sometimes camping next to the black villages there. We never had a problem, right? That's. But if you are a real South African, yeah, then because they're a little bit more rough than we.
Yeah, but yes, of course. I think in a way, the race-based politics at the 70s, even in Australia, was still there. But I mean, just one question out of the blue. German used to be a white-only kind of during the World War under Nazis, right? But then it's changed after the war and all that.
The Nazis, right? It's a different race.
It's a different race. It's not German. It's a different race. Yeah.
Different race.
Then South Africa. But you left South Africa pretty soon after that, right?
Well, the deal was when we went down to South Africa. The deal was that after being there in South Africa for 2 years, you would surrender your passport, and you get a South African passport, right? Which some of the people did, our friends, but I decided not to do because I was then still young, 25 or something like this, and I would have been again had to go to the army for 2 years in South Africa.
So what you say is that you can get the South African citizenship, but you have to go through national service again.
Yeah, because you are come in this age group, right? And then you also have to go to the army again. Now, this was a time where in Botswana the Bush War started, right? And then I decided, well, maybe too young to die already. So then I left.
So then you left South Africa. But after South Africa, where do you went? Where do you go?
Well, I went then back to Germany and worked at Hilton, but only I was supposed to go to Hilton, Jerusalem, right? So until my papers already, I worked in Hilton in a city in Germany, and then I went to the Hilton Hotel in Jerusalem and worked there.